Hello, and welcome to another Briefings with Bonnie and Lynn. And today, I got an interesting topic, something that the Lord's been uh, showing me for, I don't know, many years. It's rainbows. And I think there's a lot of misconception about what rainbows are or what they represent or whatever. So, anyways, this is just a little bit of what I've been getting. I know Bonnie's got some things on rainbows too.
Not much.
Together, we've got more than we had separate, I
Before,
guess.
yeah. How about that?
So, anyways, the first reference we really see of a rainbow is with Noah. I believe it's chapter 9, and it's funny in chapter 6. God says to Noah that He's going to set up a covenant with Noah, and then I'm not sure if it's like 100 years later or whatever, but it's after the flood that He sets up the covenant in chapter 9, and he says this will be a sign of the covenant, and he's talking about the rainbow. This will be a sign of the covenant, that when I bring a cloud on the earth, that if I see a rainbow in the cloud, then I will remember my covenant that I've made. What is it, between the heaven and earth?
Between me and you and every living creature of all flesh.
Now, I find this very interesting because I don't just see a rainbow and a cloud and God talking about what He is or isn't going to do on the earth. I see rainbows represent God's promise, God's promises to us, God's promise that He keeps, whether we're right or not. But interestingly, He talks about the rainbow and the cloud. I believe that if we look into it a little bit deeper, we see the cloud of witnesses and that promise written on our hearts. So if you look in, was it Revelation 4:3, it talks about the throne of God. And just to take a 25 or 30-year step backwards, I was in the backyard and I was watering the backyard with the hose, and you know how you get that little arc of rainbow. And I thought, oh, this is like early in my becoming a Christian. I see that little rainbow. I was, oh, that. So when God really started talking to me about rainbows, I sprayed it up in the air, and it didn't make an arc; it made a complete circle.
Mm.
And I said, what? Like, why does it make a circle? And like, why does it not do the arc? It does a whole circle. Why does it make a ring? And he said, because Earth doesn't get in the way.
I like that.
That is very deep.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
The promises, if you look at it, the promises of God completely encircle us if we don't let Earth get in the way. We let things get in between us and God. Guess what? We got an arc.
Yeah.
We've got a good promise.
I'm thinking as you're saying that Earth, it's our mind. I mean, we're made
When
out
the
of the dust of
cloud,
the earth.
when the cloud covers the earth,
Mhm.
if he sees that sign in the cloud,
Right.
if he same thing happens in Revelation. Those with the mark, those without the mark, those with the mark of God,
Mm.
those without the mark of God. What mark are we wearing? So and this goes into like a whole bunch of other things, but you see in Revelation 4:3 talks about the throne of God.
Can I
And then
read
there's
that?
a sea of glass. Yeah.
It says, and he who sat there was like a jasper and a sardis stone in appearance. And there was a rainbow around the throne in appearance like an emerald. Mm.
Go ahead, you can keep reading.
And around the throne were 24 thrones, And on the thrones I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white robes, and they had crowns of gold on their heads. And from the throne proceeded lightnings and thunderings and voices. 7 lamps of fire were burning before the throne, which are the 7 spirits of God.
Yeah. Now, oh, and it says before the throne there was a sea of glass. That's where I was thinking.
Yeah, like crystal.
Like crystal.
And in
That
the
sea of
midst of the-
glass is the people.
Yeah, and in the midst of the throne and around the throne were 4 living creatures full of eyes in front and back. But yeah,
Mhm. That sea of glass around the throne, I believe that is what is actually the light coming out from the throne. We reflect that promise of God in our own ways. Do I reflect everything of God? No, probably not. It'd be nice if I did. I reflect everything of God that
yeah,
He shows me
You
and
know, I'm
that
thinking-
that I allow.
like the Christ in me, the hope of glory.
Mhm.
And as like he's coming for his bride and we're being more transformed into his likeness. It's that light coming from us. Yeah. That's what's
So
projected there.
yeah, and so now I can't remember the psalm, but I brought this up before, not on the briefings, but that blessed are those that are together in unity.
Oh, right.
They are together. That cloud is, it's not just one drop that makes a cloud. It's a bunch of droplets, and they
Mhm.
all reflect that glory of the
glory of
Lord.
the Lord.
The glory is the promise.
Mhm.
The glory is that covenant. That's that rainbow. It's all the glory, the rainbow, the covenant, the promise. I don't see the commandments that have gone into that. I don't see the commandments of God as like, you shall not steal, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not do, like, these aren't do's and don'ts. When I stand before him, I will be like him because I'll see him as he is. I shall not steal. I shall not commit adultery. I shall not covet. It's because that's what he's made me. It's not, it's his promise to me.
Right.
That's who he's made me to be. So it's a completely different paradigm or viewpoint, is how you see yourself and how you receive that revelation of who he is. Is he making you do things that you don't want to do? Well, could be. Is he making you into something that is going to be a beautiful eternal work of art? Yeah.
Absolutely. You have a little different take on the great cloud of witnesses.
Mhm.
Explain your view on that.
Oh. Well, why don't you explain your view and then I'll. I'm not sure
Well,
where
we
my.
always talk about, somebody died, they went to heaven. Okay, they've passed on the great beyond, the other side, the eternal realm, whatever. And they're part of the great cloud of witnesses.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we look at, like my mom, my grandparents, Bob, your dad, okay, so they're all deceased and now they're with the Lord. So they're part of that great cloud of witnesses. And from time to time, we get to see
Interact.
them,
Yeah.
interact with them. We see them in a dream or vision, or sometimes we kind of have a visitation by them. So, well, that's part of the great cloud of witnesses. And I agree with that. Lynn and I was talking just prior to this video about my grandfather and how before my mother, who was his daughter, before she passed, he came to visit me with a message, which I gave to my mother. So now he was part of that great cloud of witnesses. He is. And he could talk to me. Okay. I believe that. And I believe that they do. Hebrews says that they are near us, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to find that scripture, but Lynn has a different take, we just look at those as those who have gone on to be with the Lord are part of that great cloud of witnesses. Now Lynn has a little different.
Well,
Is that-
I don't disagree with that at all. I think maybe I just take an extra step in there.
Let me read, it's 12, Hebrews 12:1. Therefore, well, it says prior to that, God having provided something better for us, that they should not be made perfect apart from us. So that's, he's talking about the other saints. Then 12:1 says, therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Okay, so it says we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. So now, Lynn, explain your point of view.
Well, we are seated with Christ in heavenly places.
Right?
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that great cloud of witnesses is also seated with Christ in heavenly places.
Right.
Me being surrounded by the great cloud of witnesses, I'm part of that cloud. I'm not like just a guy standing in the middle of a cloud. I'm one of the droplets in the cloud.
Right.
I'm part of the reflection of that rainbow. So I guess my viewpoint on that is that since I'm part of that cloud, I have access to the cloud.
Gosh, and we're in the time
We're
where
in we have the cloud. Yeah, I
Oh
know.
my gosh.
I know. I can upload all my contact all my relatives. No, that's not what I'm talking about.
No.
But I can.
The cloud.
I'm not sure what is my perspective here that you're.
Because we are alive on earth
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
but yet we are with the great cloud of witnesses. They can actually like be here and we can actually be there. We are part
because
of that
we're
cloud.
because we exist in the eternal realm.
There you go.
We're seated
Yeah.
with Christ in heavenly places. If he wants to, he can let me access 1945 or the crucifixion or the dawn of time, like whatever he
Right.
wants, he can show me. He can show me things in the future.
Right.
It's part of being that cloud of witnesses, being seated around the throne. Time and space are just like a thread in an ocean.
Yeah.
And he can just drop you in at any point, any place.
I know. It is so amazing. And you know what? I mean, he's done that with me quite a few times and I never asked for it. Maybe I did, speaking in tongues, maybe I asked to see certain things. I don't know. But it's like he's wanted to show me things for his purpose. So he would take me here or there, the next place, whatever, before now and after now. So so he can do that. But so I just wanted you to explain that cloud of witnesses. So it's not just people who have died and gone on, it is the redeemed of Christ. So
those that have stepped into what he has called them to step into,
right,
are part of that cloud.
Right. Yeah. So okay, now
Yeah.
where are you going with your
I don't know
cloud?
that you asked me to talk about the cloud there. That's my
Okay,
kind of.
well, use with
But
the
I get a
rainbow.
whole bunch of yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's my rainbow too.
Okay,
So
get
that rainbow
picture
in
that
the cloud. Oh,
that
I'll
you-
see if I can find that.
Yeah, Lynn has an
You're
amazing
gonna have to keep
picture.
everybody.
Lynn has an amazing picture of a rainbow in the cloud, because that's what it said. Oh gosh.
Well,
There
we go.
you can use your hand. I don't know, you can, there you go.
Oh well.
That's pretty good there. That was in the cloud in Rochester, New York.
Yep.
That was back about 2018, I think.
18,
maybe.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But that was an amazing. I've seen a rainbow in a cloud before, but not like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was with Lynn when we saw that together.
Yeah,
but,
that was pretty incredible because we were driving down the highway and this rainbow just all the way, like there was just, and it was funny because they were in a time of drought,
yeah.
and we just spoke at a meeting, and we were driving to the hotel, and like this rain cloud just like right there, and I was like, "Look at that rainbow! Where's my phone?" Click, click, click.
That was amazing.
It
That
was.
amazing. But anyhow, well, back in 2000, I think it was 9, maybe 10, Bob had Bob had a word one morning about the rainbow connection. He was really upset because he saw a frog. He did not know who Kermit the Frog was. So I hope you do, from Sesame Street. But anyhow, he was really upset because he said he had a frog. A frog was talking to him that morning. And he was upset because Bob felt that frogs were just demonic, period. And I said, I made it worse. I said, he said his name was Kermit. I said, yeah, Kermit the Frog. And I said, here's something else for you, Bob. He's in love with a pig, Miss Piggy. So he was really upset. But we were on our way to Knoxville to do some ministry, and anyhow, we kind of got it together. But the song that Kermit sang was the Rainbow Connection.
Yeah.
And what's interesting in that too is just as you're getting that put together now, and things take time. I'm wondering, there was different messages that came out of that, but I wonder if that was not the main message of that whole thing. The rainbow connection it can't be connected. It on earth, it goes earth to earth, right? The arc,
Yeah.
earth to earth. But what you're saying is we're surrounded by that cloud.
Yeah.
Because that's what scripture's saying is in the cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really.
So that's a pretty
Yeah.
Pretty neat. I think that is the first covenant that God made with anybody.
Right.
I think so.
I was
Chapter 9.
Let's see if I could find something. I was reading about the children of Israel and how they how the cloud, they had the cloud by day and the fire by night, but the Lord said he looked down. I probably won't find it now, but he looked down through the cloud.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I find it interesting in Genesis 9 where he says he brings the cloud upon the earth. So that's just talking of like he's bringing the glory, but are we going to receive it, or is it just going to be like something clouded in mystery?
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found what I was looking for. So it's Exodus 14:24. Now it came to pass in the morning watch that the Lord looked down upon the army of the Egyptians. This is when they're going to go through the Red Sea, through the pillar of fire and cloud. And he troubled the army of the Egyptians. So, and that's when God moved the fire and the cloud from going before them, the Israelites, to behind them. So it was a barrier because they saw that fire. The Egyptians couldn't go any farther. They had to withstand, and yet the Israelites were able to pass on through. But he looked down through the cloud and the fire. Interesting. So, okay.
Water and fire again. So
I know. So, Have
Very
anything else
interesting
there?
time. Oh, goodness. No, not exactly. No. So I'll just leave it there for now.
For the cloud?
Yeah.
Okay, the rainbow.
Feel like I've got more, but I can't really release that. So
Okay. All right. Well, hey, this has been fun and,
yeah,
just food for thought,
yeah, yeah.
and
See how that matches up with what you have on rainbows. Hopefully that's a bit of a um, confirmation on things for you. So until next time,
all right, be blessed.
bye bye.